Hey there, friends. It's Reasonably Prudent Vegan. We're coming to you with another race report. It was the Katy half marathon this weekend, so I'm going to let my esteemed colleague take over the medal introduction.
All right. Here's the front, pretty nice. And then the back, hopefully you can see, pretty neat. And then it's got the date, where it was, and what it was on there.
Ticks all the boxes.
Yep, and then they gave us these coffee cup things at this ending. And let's see, there's the bibs. Not bad.
Nice.
This is race 2 of 3 of the
Bayou City half marathon series.
Yeah, here's the shirt. Pretty neat. It's got the logo on the sleeve there. Then on the back, you probably can't see it, but these are all like everybody's name. Oh, thank you, Kimmy. Written on there. They're having a brawl with the top of the cat
please
tree.
don't fall again.
You guys just can't handle it while we're in here. Okay, so let's see.
All right.
I would rate my performance a 2 Keanos
Okay.
because I didn't like taper enough. I trained, the Houston Marathon was 2 weeks ago. And last weekend I ran 16 miles as a long run. And so by the time we got to this one, I was just exhausted. And I've been running during the week, and
Thank you, Mr. Vincent.
Lost my train of thought. Oh, I went out to try and qualify for the A Corral at the Houston Marathon next year, and I made it to about the 2 or 3 mile mark at the pace I needed to be, and realized that wasn't happening. So, you know, I tried to run the rest of it, and when I got passed by the girls pushing the handicap person, I kind of gave up. No.
And good for them, by the way.
Yeah, that was great. So I came in at 2:04:32. Sorry, I forgot what it was. It was good. I have to rate this race a 4 Keanu's out of 5 for the following reasons. Well, mostly it was, she's got different reasons, but mine was mostly the aid stations. The kids were great and enthusiastic. They were just disorganized. They were all like this, right up next to each other, because it was a little cold and sleety, rainy. Not sleet, but spitting, but
Misting.
misting, that's the word. And they were all screaming, water, Gatorade, but the problem was it wasn't like water and then Gatorade. They were all mixed together. Like Gatorade, water, Gatorade, down the line. And you couldn't, and they all had the same cups, and you couldn't tell what it was, and they were so scrunched together. When some asshole stopped,
Person.
hey, they run up here doing 7 or 8 minute miles. They stop at the aid station to get water at the first and second ones.
I know
And
this.
I missed at least 1, if not 2, just completely because there were so many of them. The kids were all so close together, but
Okay.
other than that, it was a good race. It was well marked. It wasn't a loop. Well, I mean, it went out and back, but it wasn't like 2 loops of the same course.
Right. And it wasn't actually an out and back. You didn't repeat anything.
Right, but it was good. I had fun. It was pretty hard just because I wasn't like tapered enough. We had a format we were going to use.
We did. We forgot the format. We'll do better.
But
maybe. I don't know. I like this format, but
yeah, it was fun. It was nice. The start line was disorganized. Very disorganized.
yes.
The finish line was okay. They had pizza and chips and cookies and pop and a few vendors. I mean, for a smaller marathon, it was all right. But I would like to say I did not get Papa John's, because I'm vegan. Although I was half tempted. My coworker hadn't been there, probably would have, but no, just kidding. I wouldn't have. Papa John's didn't do it. Anyway,
Okay.
that's about the end of mine. I've only
Okay.
ranted for 5 minutes this time.
Good. Well, I think that's better format, right? So my race, I think if I was gonna, I'll give it a 4 Keanu's.
You're changing your mind, huh?
What did I say before?
You said 3 in the car.
Did I 3? Oh, I meant for my performance.
Oh.
I'll
I'm
rate
sorry.
the. I'm sorry. I'll rate the race first.
I was confused.
I rate the race at a 3 Keanu's, and this is why. A lot. You're running through this town, and there's a lot of intersections. A lot of the police officers seemed either disinterested or genuinely on their phone, and that makes me very nervous. And in fact, at one of the intersections, the police officer made the runners stop and let the cars go. And I understand there's a competition here between cars and people, but we paid to do this, and we're helping the economy of the town. So I didn't appreciate that at all. I agree with his aid station issue, although where I tend to run, we don't bunch up, so it didn't affect me. But I did have to ask several times, like I'm out of breath and I'm like, water, so they probably thought that I was deaf, but it worked because they understand a W, and then they would say, oh no, down here, or someone would hand me one. So and we ran this race in its inaugural race in 2015, which is funny because at that race, that's where I got my all-time half marathon PR at about 2:04 or 2:05. Today I ran it at 3:02. But on this one, technically they counted my time because this course is open until 3 hours and 16 minutes, whereas the other one in the series was only open until 3 hours. But I don't like I'm on the fence. Like, they set a cutoff, you should respect it, but at the same time, if it's arbitrary, then I don't understand. If we get to the end of doing the Bayou City half series at Vintage Park in April, and I don't get the thing for doing all 3 of them, I might actually say something, because I feel like it's arbitrary cutoff. If you're gonna do a series, all the cutoffs should be the same. And secondly, like he said, there were a ton of people behind me.
There were 13 or 1,400 people, and I think it said 290 or 280 behind her.
That's a lot of people behind me, so I don't know. So as far as rating my performance, I'm going to rate it at a 4. Well, I really don't. I'm going to rate it a 4, and this is why. Although I finished at 4 Keanu's, excuse me. Although I finished at 3:02, which is not really better or worse than the other one, I actually went out too fast, and so at mile 7, if I had been able to keep that pace, I would have come in at, mile 7. I would have come in at 2:36. So I made some mistakes in this race. The first mistake was going out with my headphones on. I don't think I'm gonna run with my headphones anymore because you don't listen to your body. And so, like I said, I went out way too fast, and I kept noticing my heart rate was close to 180 or high 70s, and I really do believe if you're running at a comfortable pace, you should be in the 150s. And I couldn't get it down. I could already feel the headache and the salt. I took 4 salt stick today. It's like 60 degrees outside. So I went out too fast and then ended up having to walk quite a bit of it. But the last mile, I had some pain at mile 6. My knee started hurting, but then I started doing like a run walk and trying to change my gait, and that helped. But the last mile is when I started to have like the lock up, and then around mile 9 I started retaining some.
Mr. Vincent.
Oh my goodness, sir, what is with you guys? I started retaining some water. So we have another half marathon next weekend, and I reset my running watch so that it shows me my average pace, because I'm going to set a goal of 13-minute miles. That's not a great pace, but that gives me some leeway to walk a little bit if I need to. But if I focus on that throughout the whole race, then I want a more even pace, and I want to start getting my aerobic system back in order. So I think overall it was a good race. Yeah. That's really all I've got. Like, I'm excited about everything we told you we're going to do. We're getting back in shape, and
this was the first. She's had hers for a week, but I got mine yesterday. Fitbit Ionics. I was gonna get an iWatch, but that's a little expensive.
I know I break it.
Yeah, these are a lot cheaper, and they have GPS on.
Yeah.
So you can track your run,
They're pretty
tracks
cool.
your heart rate and sleeping and all this fun stuff.
Yeah, and then the exercise, so you can go and do a run, and it keeps all your stats. So I think that's what I'm gonna do next week when we do the villains versus, wait, heroes versus supervillains.
Villains, something like that.
Supervillains. Yeah. So that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I don't have any clothes that are super villainish, so
I don't really
a little
either.
disappointing, but it'll be fun to see everybody else's.
Yeah, it'll be fun, and so that's my goal is next week to do an on-tempo run and finish under 3 hours, if not better. But I would rather get to the last 2 miles and know, thank you guys for just being absolute nuts today.
Yeah, she's eating tape up there, and he's jumping up and down all over the place.
They're really not like this during the day.
They're excited that we're in here.
Yeah, I'd rather like go out slower, get the tempo, and realize 3 miles later, oh, I've got more gas in my tank. I can finish a little faster. I think that's a wiser way to go, especially like he said, we're kind of ramping up really quickly. So you can't do any like really intense training runs during the week. You need to do like specific training during the week. So yeah, it was a good race.
Yeah, I don't want to get it wrong. The kids were great and enthusiastic. They just
They
need
were
a little coaching.
They were enthusiastic, and he's right. They should have done like Gatorade, porta potties, water, so that it's
Or
clear,
at
so that
least
people.
all of them on one side of it, you know.
Yeah.
But
So that there's a distinction. Please don't eat the tape.
I just don't want the kids to see it.
Oh no,
Take
they
it
were
in.
great. All of Katy ISD students, you are the future. You did a great job. Thank you. I'm assuming they're Katy ISD students because we were in Katy.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway,
all right.
yeah. Thanks
All
for
right.
watching. We'll see
Yeah.
you
Next weekend for heroes versus super villains half. All right.